On page 217 and 218, we are going to solve multi-step inequalities. So this is the same as what we did with equations, only remember you need to flip the inequality sign when you multiply or divide by a negative. So you'll see that when we go throughout here. We're also going to write our answers a little bit differently. We're going to write them in what is called interval notation. So it's just a new way to write them. So if you have an open circle, remember that means that you either had less than or greater than. So on your number line, you have an open circle. If it's a closed circle, that means you had less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. When you have infinity or negative infinity, you are always going to use the parentheses. Okay? The reason behind that is because you never will get to positive or negative infinity. So you can't include it like you would if you had a closed circle. So we're going to start and do the odd ones on this video, and then the even ones will be on another video. So our first step is to distribute. 4x plus 12 is greater than negative 24. Then I would subtract 12. 4x is greater than negative 36. I'm going to write that again over here. Divide both sides by 4. I do not flip the sign because I'm dividing by positive 4. It does not matter that the 36 is even, or is negative. So x is greater than negative 9. So we're going to put our negative 9 in the middle. I'm going to do negative 8 here and negative 10 here. You can always skip a line in between, that's fine. We would have an open circle and we would shade to the right. Again, if you want to just put the arrow up above, that's fine. So that's normally where we would end. Now with interval notation, here's what it looks like. This means that we're starting at negative 9 and going all the way as far positive as we possibly can, which gets us to positive infinity. So the interval notation is going to be negative 9, comma, positive infinity. Infinity is always a parenthesis, and the open circle, because it was a greater than, is also a parenthesis. So that's what your answer looks like in interval notation. So here is the inequality, here is the graph, and then here is our new interval notation. So this interval notation says you can get close to negative 9 but not equal to, and go all the way up to infinity. Again, when you check your answer, you want to check by plugging in the number that is past where you're shading. So negative 8 is what you would plug in. So negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. Negative 20 is greater than negative 24, so you did it correctly. Let's look at number 3. 7x, then we need to distribute the negative 2. Remember, that's a negative 2, so minus 2x plus 8 is less than or equal to negative 2. Some of you are comfortable doing 2 steps at once here. If not, I'll write it all out. So we have 5x plus 8 is less than or equal to negative 2. So you combine your like terms. Then you subtract 8 from both sides. 5x is less than or equal to negative 10. Divide both sides by 5. Again, we do not flip the sign because we are dividing by positive 5. So there's our answer. X is less than or equal to negative 2. So you're going to put negative 2 here, negative 1, negative 3. This time we have a closed circle, and we are going to the left for less than. So this one's a little bit trickier because we are starting with negative infinity. So anytime we're shading to the left, you're going to start at negative infinity with a parenthesis, comma, -2, but -2 needs a bracket because it's a closed circle. So we are including -2. So it has to have a bracket. So what this interval notation says is that you can go anywhere left, so all the way down to -infinity, up to -2. Number 5. Now we have variables on both sides. So again, I always start by moving my variable that's on the right over to the left. That helps with our graphing. So add 2x to both sides. Some of you are okay with moving the 1 at the same time. I'm going to write it all out. So 8x plus 1 is less than 9. Subtract 1 from both sides. 8x is less than 8. Divide both sides by 8. X is less than 1. So there's your answer. Graph it. We put 1 in the middle, 2 on this side, 3 on this side. Whoa, not 3. How about 0? We would have an open circle at 1 and then shade to the left. So our interval notation, again, since we're going left, that means we start at -infinity, which is a parenthesis, comma, 1, also a parenthesis because we are not including the 1 because it's an open circle. Again, you should be able to actually go right from your answer to your interval notation as well instead of just using the graph. Let's look at number 7. We do not distribute the 3. We bring the 3 down and we're distributing -1. So minus 2x and plus 7. Less than or equal to 34 minus 6x. Combine our like terms. We would have -2x plus 10 is less than or equal to 34 minus 6x. So I would add 6x to move it over to the other side. So that gives me 4x plus 10 is less than or equal to 34. Then I subtract 10. 4x is less than or equal to 24. Divide by 4. X is less than 6. Less than or equal to 6. So we would have 6, 7, and 5. Closed circle at 6 and again shaded to the left. So again, we start at -infinity with a parenthesis, comma, 6 needs a bracket because it's a closed circle. We are including the 6. And number 9, 5x, you're distributing -3. Minus 3x minus 18 greater than or equal to, here you're distributing -1. 8 minus x plus 7. So 2x minus 18 is greater than or equal to -x plus 15. Add x to both sides. We get 3x minus 18 is greater than or equal to 15. Add 18 to both sides. 3x is greater than or equal to 33. divide, and I'm going to write it over here, x is greater than or equal to 11. So 11 goes in the middle, 12, 10, closed circle because it's or equal to, and to the right for the greater than. So now we start with 11 with a bracket, comma, positive infinity, parenthesis.